Hi everyone. So today on this rather impromptu live, what I'm trying to do is make a few interesting Mother's Day cards since we are so close to Mother's Day. Oh, let me adjust this a bit so I can see. Yeah, okay. So I was thinking of a rather different sort of a Mother's Day card, one which has the world, something revolving around moms being the center of our worlds. So today we're going to learn how to draw, or you can watch me draw and paint a globe, and it's very simple. It involves a lot of wet on wet painting, which is really fun to do. So let's begin, and these are just a few examples. I will probably bring these in a little more time, but let's get on to the actual card. Okay, so here's two cards. Two of the cards that I want to illustrate today. For today we will use of course most globes are blue and green for the land and blue for the water, but you can make a quirky globe as well, which does not involve the colors that are usually present on a globe. You can make it more colorful. You can have lighter version of one color, like a monochrome. So let's see how that works out. Okay, first off, these are this is a watercolor sheet that I cut up, A4 sheet, which I cut up in two parts. Right, so this is how it would have been A4, and after making it A5, I folded it further. So basically these are A6 size cards. Okay, let me keep these here so I can show you what they will look like eventually. Okay, for our first card, we are going to need, actually for both our cards, we are going to need a circular object that will give you a rough circle, not a rough circle, a perfect circle. So one is over here. I'm going to place this little steel vessel here and draw a circle. Okay, so this is one globe. I will be using a smaller circle for the next one because this globe is going to be just a standstill globe. Doesn't have any stand, whereas on my second globe I intend to make it on a stand. Okay, so which means we have to make it slightly smaller to allow the stand to come around it. So again, I will place this a little higher, maybe just a wee bit more, so that we can fit our wordings, and we may just turn the stand the other way around. Okay, rough center, but more high. I mean, we have a base over here, right? So keep that in mind and maybe raise the globe a little higher, and that's it. Okay, so we have a circle drawn here in pencil. Keep this aside. We'll come to this while the first one is drying. Okay, now the best thing to do when you want to draw a globe, we have to look at a picture of a globe and try and draw the outline of the continents, the land masses mostly. But if it all depends on what you're trying to achieve by drawing this globe. So for example, if you want to draw a globe in such a way that you want to point out the part where your mother lives, for example, if my mother lives in the US, I may want a globe that has the continent of North America visible and in the front. So that's something that you might want to consider. I have, for this example here, created a globe which has the subcontinent of India in the center, simply because I want to have a heart put in there to show where my mom is, and thereby there is some significance to why I have taken this side of the globe. Yeah, so this is something that I wanted to point out in the beginning. If you have such a plan in mind, it would be nice if you planned it before you drew it, right? So in this case, I'd like to do the same thing, which is why I take another part of the world, let's say another angle, where we can show another continent which is facing the front. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. So I'm looking up some images. So this is an example. This is an example where I have taken the image of India in front because I wanted to showcase India on my globe. But if you want some other image, look those up, and you can do that. Okay, let me take up another screenshot. Okay, I'll take one with North America. Okay, so what you need to do is, you don't need to get into a lot of exact precise drawings. Okay, so let me just show you something like this. This is North America. I am just letting my pencil go over this in a bit, something like this, go down. I'm just roughly following the marks, not precisely at all. You definitely cannot hold this up in a geography class and say this is a map of America. No, but you get the point when you see it, right? The moment you see it, you understand, oh yeah, this is the US. Then I have something from here. Okay, let me continue the rest of this here. Okay, this got too. Mistakes are bound to happen, so don't fret. Now you have South America. Now I couldn't even fit all of South America here, so don't worry. Then we have some part of Africa that has to come in here. Okay, and it's going to disappear behind that over there. Then we have a little bit of, now there's a spattering of islands over here, which I'm just going to draw quite a bit. It's going to be very tough for me to show all of this. That's what I'm trying to get at, and it may not be possible to show everything, so just don't let that worry you. Okay, roughly, as long as you get the largest landmass, leave it at that. Then there is a little bit of, this is Iceland, Greenland, I forget, but okay, and that's it. We're not going to do much more. We're going to have probably a little bit of something coming here, and that's it. Leave it. Now what we do is we wet this surface. I'm going to use shade of blue. I have here a warm blue and a cool blue. This is ultramarine blue, and this is I forget what blue is, but very similar to cerulean or the brighter blues. So I'm going to wet the space here, just plain water. What I would recommend is that you do section by section of what you see. Okay, so what I mean by that is, let's not paint the whole globe. Another thing I forgot to mention is you need to erase whatever lines are drawn by mistake. Yeah, you can correct your mistakes in advance so that you don't see them in the watercolor painting. Yeah, now I wet this surface. Okay, now technically I have this portion quite separated from the rest of the water, so let's get to tackling this part first. Okay, now that I've wet it, I'm going to go in with What blue is this? This is, you know, it evades me, but I don't know why. I can never remember what this blue is. Okay, doesn't matter. It's a greenish blue. Let the wet on wet effect do its thing, because you definitely want to give the impression of water, which you see on the globe. It's not consistently solid blue, right? It is very uneven, and you want to show that here. So what I would recommend is, since the paper is wet, take your smallest brush. This is not my smallest brush. I should change. And go along the entire periphery, the border, if you can call it that, and apply the paint there. What causes, the paint will blend very well, but you will have uneven patches in between, and that is fine. That is exactly what we are trying to get. That is the effect you want to get. Okay, so let me take my finer pen, my finer brush. Yeah, there it is. And this time I'm going to go in with a deeper shade of the same blue, just a bit around the borders, just a bit, and some parts in between. Okay, if you have observed a globe, you will notice that these kind of dark and light portions are very much a part of, like the waves, right? We have that effect of waves. The fine brush should be able to give you all these crevices, you know, fit into all these small crevices that you want to maintain. Mind you, this is me being quite precise in the sense I've maintained quite a bit of the shape of the land masses. In our next card, we won't do it so dark, we won't do it so evident, so clearly marked out. We'll make it more loose. Okay, going to the next part. Again, applying water. If you feel that you need a thicker brush to apply water, go ahead, use a thicker brush. Don't apply it too close to the edges, because then it may go over the land portions. Okay, so now here it's a little tricky, because I'm going into this space, right? These little islands or small countries, it's going to be tricky. So let's just wet it nicely. Oh, nice to see my mother on this live. Hi, Amma. Okay, now I go back with my dark blue, bright blue. Pyral blue, I'm starting to think that this must be what is called pyral something else. So this version of the globe that I'm drawing has the United States in the forefront, or let's say North America. Oops. I'm going along the border. Move a little quickly if you can, because water will dry and become a little more patchy than we want. So move a little quickly if you can. Otherwise, re-wet wherever you reach. And here cauliflower blooms will not hurt at all, because that's the effect, right? That's what we want to get. All uneven and patchy. So don't worry about that. As much as I say move fast, moving fast with a small brush is tricky, and moving fast with such small land masses is trickier. So Okay, now for the rest of this, I'm going to go in with a little bit of water first, simply because my earlier paint has water has dried. Okay, just going in, re-wetting, and then applying my very wet version of this blue for it to just blend away. If by chance certain chunks of land masses also turn blue, your brush goes over it. Don't worry too much. We can leave it that way. A slight change in the landmass won't make a difference. Again, this is not reference for a geography class. This is a card, and whoever is receiving this is smart enough to understand that this is a globe. So you don't have to make it perfect. Okay. Now that that's done, I'm just putting in a bit of darker paint at certain points. Okay. Over here I don't have too much, but let me just drop in a bit of darkness. Okay. There you go. Part 1 is where I tell you do not need to do anything more. You can leave this globe as it is. It looks quite nice. We have a lot of globes that have land masses marked white. So this is perfectly fine if you left this. You can proceed to the next part of the card, which is all the lettering that you want to add. Part 2 is something else altogether. So maybe, okay, let me just go with giving the land masses some color. Okay. What I would do is, now I will start with the landmass, provided the water is dry. The water is actually not dry over here, but here it is. So let me start with this landmass here. Okay. For this I will start with a yellow, and can be any yellow. I'm using something like a gamboge. Okay. And you will notice I just put it at the center, a bit at the center, and that's it. Maybe, okay, let's leave the other ones. To this, I'm going to add a little wee bit of red, just a wee bit at certain points, just a wee bit. That's it. Then I go in with the same blue that I had taken for the water. Okay, touch it here. What happens with that blue is, because of the yellow, it's going to turn green, right? And if it touches the red, it's going to turn brown. And that's exactly what we want for the landmass. Dip that blue a little bit into the yellow in the center, so that now your yellow is starting to turn green, but not green uniformly, right? You have a patchy green. You have in fact a bit of brown too, because of the red added. And now if you bring in a little more pigment, blue pigment, the green starts to get darker. And the yellow starts to get almost disappear. And that's your green continent. Okay. Similarly, we can also start with lemon yellow, or somewhere in the center here, distribute it a bit. Okay. Put in a dot of red here and there. I would put some here, closer to Texas. Yeah, that's it. If you look at a map, this is usually how they want to show geographic, or what they call them, physical maps. Yeah, physical maps. Yeah, so physical maps have got a lot of these multicolored yellow, orange, brown, green, dark green, to show some sort of a topography. I'm thinking, yeah, topography, yeah. Okay, now here my yellow is starting to get a bit dry, so it's getting patchy, which is why I have to add another round of yellow, merge it around, and then go back in with my blue, okay, not green, blue, over this yellow, turn it green, and then go to the edges of your landmass. So you'll notice now that the vibrant standing out of the landmasses is gone because green is merging a little bit with the blue and it's not standing out. Don't worry too much about this. We will add some outlines. These kind of exercises may require you to change your brush, although I'm being a little stubborn and sticking to my thicker brush. I wouldn't recommend doing that because you may find it going out, the paint going out, and then causing its own share of frustration. Some continents need not have that much of yellow, can be just a mild yellow and more green. In that case, you may want to pick some green itself. Okay, so if I put blue on this, the continent will start to become blue, and we don't want that. So take green, like maybe a sap green. Okay, and if you feel that maybe the green is looking too dense, then just going back with a little bit of yellow and it will brighten the green. That's it. All this is wet on wet. This is the best part of it. The wet on wet effect, we are actually using it to our advantage. We want that effect to be, or we are harnessing that effect to our advantage, because you want a very genuine looking. Oops, too much of blue. Wipe it off. Go back in with a little yellow, and you're sorted. See, the moment the yellow and the blue mix, you have the green you want. Go to the corners, fill that in. This is also the point where you can add, if you like, a few extra landmasses which you missed or you painted over. This is the point at which you can add it. Okay, let me just show you how I would do that. Like here, suppose I want to put one here. Add that in. From time to time, tap back into the yellow so that you can get that brighter green. Okay, go back to a bit of yellow, otherwise your blue will overpower and everything will start to look very green. Okay, as long as the white spaces are gone, you are okay. Alright, that's it. That's our world. Looks not bad, no? So we're going to let this rest. While this rests, let us pick out the other card I have here. Now this is a smaller circle because I'm going to put this on a stand, very similar to this stand. Okay, and yet slightly different. So there is another type of stand that you will find. I have so that sort of a stand it's very interesting. It is simply a line that goes through the center. Mark your center such that line is. So if you want help, take a ruler and just draw on the top and the bottom of this, and this stand is like this. It goes this way and turns. Okay, this is a sort of a metal frame, and it just sits this way. It's quite interesting. What you can do is give it a little thickness so that you can see it like a pipe of sorts, and there you go. See, this should be more or less straight. That is the important thing. Key thing to keep in mind is that you should more or less see a straight line. Okay, this is what we want to do with the second one, because this is a globe that's on a stand. So this is our globe which does not have a stand, which we're waiting for. We're waiting for it to dry. But here what we're going to do is we're going to get a little colorful, and we're going to get looser. We're not going to draw out the continents the way we did more precisely there. We're going to do it rather loose. So for this, take a pencil, mark out just a bit of land anyhow. Okay, we just want to show that there's land, and there's some land there, and there's some land there, and here little islands are not required. You can have them, nobody's stopping you. You can have something like this, a strip like this. That's it. You're not going to go into too much more detail. And here what I'm going to do different from what I have done before is we're going to use some color. Now I know some mothers will like pink and others may like purple, so I'm going to go in with a pink or a yellow or whatever color you feel may be something your mom would appreciate. Okay, the first round is like a wash. We're going to put a wash, a very light wash. See, a very light wash of pink over this globe, as long as you maintain the circle. I have seen plenty of watercolor sketches, paintings of globes that are done freehand too, and they have a really nice charm to them too. So don't think that you have to necessarily draw a circle the way I have. I was just making it easier, that's all. But you don't have to. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. You can just go freehand. Yeah, so this is done. Leave it to dry, and after it's dried we can add some details. Now, as I have done here, I initially intended for it to be like a brown color stand or a whatever color, some color for the stand. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to give it a brown color. I'm going to simply outline it with a black black pen, and leave the stand without a color. Only have the globe give the globe a color. Yeah. So these are variations. You can do what you like. Now let's rest this. Meanwhile, while these are drying, let's think up a few lines. I'm not very sure I have any catchy lines to share. So if anyone has any catchy lines, please share, and I'd be happy to. So one that I've used is "Mom, you are my world." This is one. Then the other is "Home is where my amma is," or my mom is, or whatever you refer to your mom, in whatever term you refer to your mom. You can customize it. What else would you like? "You mean the world to me." So here in this case you need not even put mom, amma, no term. You can just write "You mean the world to me." Anything else? Any other nice lines we could use? Something that obviously revolves or has the word world, earth, yeah, or the cliche one, best mama in the whole world. You can have best mama, you can say you're the best mama. Add that in. Anything else? Any other lines with the world? Mean the world to me. Okay, let's do this. You mean the world to me, and for one of them, and the other could be just best mama in the whole world. Yeah, just best mama in the whole world. Yeah. Okay, so for the first one, since we are adding no further marks to it, I will take a blue pen, the same blue pen I was writing with right now, and just outline it. Now this is the one time I'm not using a black pen, because I don't want to take away from the paint. It's so vibrant and nice. I really don't want to take away from it. So I'm just going to go around wherever there is water. I'm going to go around with a blue pen. It would be nice if this was a blue pen that is water insoluble, or rather water resistant, waterproof. That's the word. Waterproof. It would be good if it is that way, because in case you feel like wanting to add something more in watercolor, this may bleed in, and you may find yourself upset. Okay, so this one is waterproof ink, if you notice. Okay, once that is done, I also have a green pen, regular gel pen, and I don't think this one is waterproof, so I'm going to be a little careful. It's only for the sections that have the landmasses. Okay, same green pen, outline the landmasses. This is why you need for it to be entirely dry. Now the landmass starts to stand out, because earlier with just green you may not have seen it stand out too well. All these curves will come out much better now. I flipped this around because I don't want to smudge on any, place my hand on anything. Now one more advantage of outlining with a green pen is that you can add little islands that you could not add with paint. Let me show you that. Okay, here for example, I can add these little dashes, you could say, just to make it a bit more, if you want, not a requirement, just a suggestion. Okay, over here you could think of adding, I'm not sure, like here. Just add in those blobs and your globe looks much more vibrant. Now we want to add the words "you mean the world to me." Oh, we also want to add a heart somewhere. Now on this yellow, my red heart will look like this. Okay, it's not going to stand out much. So you can choose to put a white heart if you have a jelly roll pen and your mom is, let's say, somewhere near Florida, or let's say your mom's somewhere near on the west coast. Suppose your mom is here, just put that heart in the place where you feel, I mean, you want to mark your mom's presence. And this is why a map which is more or less, I won't say accurate, but more accurate than a loose map will allow you to show a spot, highlight a spot. Okay, so this is something you should keep in mind. If you made a rather precise map, you can do this. I can't really do that for this map because there probably won't be an exact way to identify the continent. Here you know for sure it is North America. There you may not know whether it is North America or Africa or India, those kind of things. So when you're more precise, you can put in a spot like this and mark it. Okay, now to go on to our wordings. Our wordings are "you mean the world to me." So I'm thinking around this, you mean the world. I'm trying to think whether I should put it around or whether I should put it out here, like you, or since this is a card, let's just make it "you mean the and the world to me." This is also an option. Another way to do it is to put all the letters here. "You mean the world to me" is an option, but what happens then is the white space around doesn't get adequately used, leaving us with a lot of leftover space. The other option is "Happy Mother's Day." You don't need to write all this. You can simply write "Happy Mother's Day." Yeah, but I'm going to stick with this because this is what I came intending to do, and I'm going to stick with this. For this, I'm going to letter with my thinnest brush, which is my number 00. Okay, and I'm going to letter with the color green, which I'm going to mix, same green in fact as this, in a little light, so I'll need to add yellow in. Okay, keep adequate quantity ready. Just make sure this is dry because you're going to go over it, which means maybe the better solution would be place a paper over it so that your hand is not going to sweat, and it will sweat, but the sweat is not going to affect or activate the paint. So something like this. Now at this point I like to add a little bit of blue, so before I continue I'll just take that same blue which I used to make the green and add it in here at the base, just to make my lettering dual tone. Okay. On card somehow I'm always inclined to letter with a brush or a brush pen. You mean a N. Okay, and while it is wet, a little bit of blue. It should usually blend without any extra push. See what I mean? Not much to be done. See? So you might want to do this word by word so that the green paint doesn't dry, and overall it's just very pretty. You mean okay, I lost my paper, my tissue paper there. I'm adjusting as I write. I felt like the was a little not centered, and I'm correcting that here. Don't worry about the pencil marks. You can erase them. You can erase them when the paint is fully dried. I usually only letter with a size 00. It doesn't allow, thicker pen doesn't allow me to letter neatly. Okay, to me seems, yeah, center is okay, because I have a little bit of, I have a exclamation mark there. I forgot about that. To me. And the exclamation, followed by the blue. Yeah, there you go, simple and easy. Okay, keep this aside, let that dry before we erase. Now to this, let's get back to the pink. I hope I have kept it safe. Okay, I'm going to use a thinner brush, but not my 00. Maybe a 2. I have a number 2. Should be thin enough. We're using the same pink, in my case quinacridone pink, and I'm simply painting in this section. This is where we can add a little bit of water and do a little bit of wet on wet. Fill in with water or a watery shade of that color. Yeah. It is going to dry lighter, so don't think it is very dark. It is not. Now the other thing you can do is you can pick up some paint. And how do you pick up paint? You can simply take tissue paper while it is wet. Let me pull my tissue paper out. Yeah. And pick a bit of paint with your finger. Put your finger in between and pick a little spot. Okay. By doing this, you have made it a bit uneven. And while it is still wet, you can go in with a really deep shade of that same color, which I'm going to add over here. Okay, somewhere here, see, somewhere here. Let that be. Let the water do its thing. Picking up with a brush is also okay. Going on, I'm going to go on to other parts. Again, deeper shade of purple. Sorry, Queen Rose. I'm calling it purple. You can also go in with purple if you want, but here I'm maintaining a monochrome theme. If you want pink and purple, that's fine. Okay, a little bit here. Not very precise, okay? This part is quite... Pick up a little paint wherever you feel you want a slightly light patch. Dry your brush, pick up some paint, then go in with a little bit of deep color at certain portions. This one started to dry. A little bit of darkness here, that's it. And I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. Now while that is drying, let me put in the I want to give it a slight it's hard to explain this. Okay. Somewhere here there will be this line too. We also want to outline the globe, but the globe is wet, so I'm not going to do that. But let's think about the words. Now in this case, I would like to write best mama in the whole world. Okay, so I'm trying to just center align this and see how that works. best, and let's write mama. Okay, this is me experimenting, by the way. I'm going to keep this for aside. Best mama in the whole world. Something like this. Best mama in the whole world. And since we are writing that, we need 3 lines. It's going to be a little bit of a tight squeeze here. So consider writing it here and writing on top, Happy Mother's Day. Okay, best. Now we have to modify it a bit. Let's see. We want to write happy. Okay, that's not going to work. We are not going to be able to fit so much. Let's try happy in regular font, Mother's Day. We could have it in a single line too. Let's do that again. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, can we fit that here? Yeah, we could do that. Actually, I've already done that, Asha, to avoid the world. I've avoided the world here. You mean the world to me. I was just trying to see whether I can have something which has, suppose there's someone who thinks this is not evident. So I'm going to try one card which has the world written and not implied. Okay, so something like Happy Mother's Day here. What did I say? Did I say Happy Mother's Day like this? Or no, I prefer not to do curved text if I can help it. You can do it. Nothing wrong in it. This is how you do it. But somehow the chances of things going wrong are very, very high with curved text. You really need to have, we have written it in pencil, tried it a few times for it to be perfect. So I would avoid this. Of course, you can do it with a big globe. This is not a big globe. So let's say happy. If I had mothers written here, mothers, okay, and day in the center, D-A-Y, happy. We're just playing around, so be light with your pencil. To the best mama in the whole world. Something like this. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to the best mama in the whole world. This could be done. Now I'm trying to see whether, yeah, this is it. This is it. So let's go in with the black pen. Now centering is important. I don't think, now if you feel that, no, this happy birthday here, okay, so let's take happy, sorry, birthday, I'm saying happy, just the happy, H-A-P-P-Y. If you feel this is not going to work, take a ruler, take a ruler, place it in the center and draw your center as a guide for your letters. This will make things a whole lot easier. Okay, so assume I'm going to go in with, my P should come on the center here. So H A P P Y. Happy Mother's Day. Now I'm going to write the mothers. Okay, I'm just a little worried that if I don't write it and I just write they, I may have to squeeze mother in. Where's my little pen? There it is. Going back to pink because we are, yeah, mothers. Modern calligraphy is so pretty. I would highly recommend learning it, just so you can make these kind of things on cards. It's a very quirky lettering. Okay, while it is wet, go in with a deep pink at the base. I love this. I just love doing this. And put in your lines wherever required. Mothers. Okay, we've got mothers in. And now for the day. Center is here, so our A should come here. To the best, Mama. Now this is going to be challenging. You have to space it roughly as far away from this end as you would want it here. So to the best going in with my paint again. Mama. If you can't fit the in, that is fine. We fit that into the next line. In the hole. So we have to fit in the hole. So let's write in the, and hole is 5 letters anyway. So hole has to begin after. And in the will be here. So in and now to space it. R is to come in the center. So let's start with the W here. Okay, slightly deeper shade, bring that in here. Same thing for Mama. I know it's dry, but you can just put in that bit. at the ends. Since this is all the best, Mother's Day part is not there, it's not dark enough, so I'm going to just go in here. Be very careful because the base is wet. Doing anything like this, you have to be a little careful. Yeah, that should do. You can. I'm a little worried about this, so I'm gonna put an outline. The moment you add that outline, it has a gives it a illustrative look. Okay, now while this dries at the side, I am going to bring back and erase pencil marks on the letters. Be careful erasing. Ensure that your paint has dried entirely. If you are unsure, don't erase yet. Erase very gently. You just need that visible pencil mark to go. Hi Anjali. Now this, while I'm not going to touch this yet. Technically your card is complete, but if you'd like to add a border, this one I feel doesn't really require a border. If you really want to add one, you should add it. It's an interesting way to add a border. Take a thickish brush. I'm going to show you this. It's a messy border. When I say messy, this is how it will look. Oh, thank you, Anjali. It's a messy border. If you want to learn how to make this messy border, I think I can do that here. Maybe not as messy, but let's see. Oh, that's one more thing I should tell you. Since this is entirely watercolor, if you feel like doing a splatter, please feel free to do that. Okay, with a messy border, a splatter does look quite nice. It has its own charm. So consider, if you feel that the splatter will help, will make it look very watercolory, please go ahead. Yeah, you can do a golden border too. Absolutely, Anjali, you're right. I don't have my gold readily available though, so I'm going to just give it maybe I don't know if a yellow would look nice, but you know, now that you said gold, I'm tempted to use my gold pen and just give it a nice line border. Okay, Anjali, you've convinced me to use gold. I definitely want to try gold. But I'm not doing a gold border, I'm just using a gold pen, and giving it, and my gold pen seems to have. How wonderful. So pens tend to dry up on you when you need them. It's a known fact. Touch of gold is nice, you're right. And I love outlines. Whatever you might say, an outline really defines the piece. There's nothing wrong without it, but there's something nice about it. A border is really, it's very clean. Something about it gives some definition, I feel. Be careful with this, do it slowly. You could have used gold now. In retrospect, I feel maybe the gold lettering also would have looked nice. If you feel you want to letter in gold, go ahead and do that. Use a pen, or if you have paint and you're feeling up to it, paint the letters in gold, and that will look really pretty. Oh, this looks lovely. I don't know if you can see the gold shining slightly, just ever so subtly on the camera, but I can see it and it looks so cute. Very, very subtle. Yep, I love this the way it is. So You Mean the World to Me is nice. It's done. Now coming back to this one, I'm scared to use the eraser on the paint, but I can use it on the ink and at least clean up my ink. Okay, clean up a little bit here, a little bit here, and some of it here, but definitely not on the paint. It's still wet. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. After doing this much, I do not need to ruin it due to lack of patience. So let me wait for it to dry entirely, and then I will erase this, the pencil marks. But this is it. Something simple as this can also be very pretty. Now this one, I really feel like doing that border. You know how it is with artists? We can't seem to stop. It takes some skill to stop. Okay, going for a border. I said I would do this border, and I want to do it on this live for sure. So I have taken a big brush, and I am basically just running the brush along the edge. Can you see what's happening? I'm going to be a little tactful and not get very too thick if I can. Only that much. That's it. Oops. And this is fine, huh? This unevenness is fine. That's the whole effect. Now I won't be able to erase anything for some time because the borders have to dry. A watery paint is what you should consider using. For this part, be a little careful because this is where the fold is. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. Let me see if I can pick that up. Mistakes like this will happen, so don't worry if it happens. A little wet water or whatever it is that you, clean water, yeah, I think, yeah, that's the best thing to do. Clean water, run over it. Take a clean, I should be using a clean tissue and dab, and that's fine. We've softened the shade a bit. Okay, hold it carefully. Now for the last part, hold it carefully and apply very slowly. This has become extra watery. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to touch it any further. Okay, so that's my border there. I'm going to leave it to dry. Thank you. Thanks, Asha. This is these are my 2 cards for Mother's Day this year. I will create a post so you can see the other cards as well, and I will save this live if I can, so you can get a few ideas and try something yourself, maybe for your mom this time. Paint something special. I know something that it's easy to surprise moms. Moms usually don't expect much, and so almost anything you do can surprise them, because they're the ones who are usually doing for everybody. So why don't you surprise your mom with a card, yeah, this year? Try it. It's going to be fun. Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining in today. See you guys on another live on another day. Bye-bye.